Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm kind of jumping back to Christmas because I realized I never officially closed out my Pine Street Square pad from the paper studio. I had, worked on this before Christmas and even kind of finished it up right after Christmas, and there were a couple projects I was waiting on my husband to help me with. I needed to frame out some signs, and just with the holidays, he was busy, and then afterwards he got really busy with work for a few months, and so he didn't get my frames done until March, and then I got my signs finished up and then kind of forgot about it again, and so realized I needed to close out Pine Street Square. So again, this was a pad from Hobby Lobby, Paper Studio pad, and there should be videos on most of it except for the projects that we just finished up here in 2020, but I got a ton out of this pad, and there's a bunch of stuff that I don't even have anymore. It's either been sent out or already sold or given to someone, so I will try and insert pictures of the things that I no longer have. But like I said, I believe everything else should have been shown at some point or another last year. So from this pad, I got 13 hot cocoa packets, two sets of tile coasters, like 4 coasters each, I got 3 sets of stacked block sets, and I have one left that I can show you what it is. So I just took, these are cut down from 2x4s or 2x6s, and we stained them up, and then I used paper to cover one side in like a winter white and blue, and this says Winter Blessings, and then if you turn it over, the other side says Merry Christmas. So I really loved this pad. I loved all the rustic elements to it. And then I got 4 sets of their little Noel snow letter blocks, and again I have one left of those that I can show you here. So if you take these, if I can spell, they spell out snow on one side, again using that blue from here, so these coordinate really well, like if you wanted to put them out together. And then the other side, you turn it over, and it spells Noel, which again kind of coordinates with these colors. So I had 4 of those, and that's what I have left. Let's see, reversible signs. I had two like signs that were these. They were 7x7, and this Let It Snow was an image on the paper already, and so I just cut it down to fit into a frame. Used Mod Podge to apply it, and then sealed it on top of the Mod Podge with polyacrylic, and then my husband framed it. And then on this side, I just used this holly wood grain pattern and then painted Joy on it. And again, these all coordinate. They're from the same pad, so of course they all coordinate. And then what I didn't get to show you last year, like in 2019, were the projects that I was waiting on from my husband. So I wanted to make some 12x12 reversible signs as well. There was this pattern that had like the wood green and then the red kind of green plaid border with 25 down here, and I loved it. Knew I wanted to do a sign of some sort, and finally at Dollar Tree had found these signs, and it's like, this is like MDF, and it had Jingle All the Way in metal wording. And so I have never been able to find the metal words at our Dollar Tree that people have found, like at Thanksgiving with the thankful, grateful, blessed. And I think there used to be some at Christmas time too, but I had never found any of those at our Dollar Tree, but I have found them on signs before. So I snagged up 3 of these signs and popped off the metal words, and you can see it came off pretty cleanly. There's just a couple spots that didn't come off, so I could totally reuse those signs for something if I wanted to in the future. And I just put them on here with a combination of hot glue to hold it down and then E6000 to kind of hold it down long term. So I need to go through and kind of clean it up, see if I can't use some Goo Gone, and then to get some of the glue off the metal and then shine it up a little bit. So that's this side. And you know me and how I love reversible holiday pieces. The other side is this really pretty winter scene. It did not come from this pad. It came from another winter pad, but I loved it and figured it'd be a good, you know, to go on the reverse side. I couldn't think of anything to add to this to make it any better, so I just left this side as was. But I ended up getting 3 of these, and then I was waiting on my husband to do the frame part for me. And then I got 2 more 12 by 12 signs, like in a different pattern. I had made this sign in last summer, and you know, it's fall themed, and I didn't have anything on the other side, and it just felt like it was missing something to me because I'm a double-sided kind of girl. So I decided to take this reindeer paper, I love the pattern, and I decided to put him on the other side, and all I did was just dress the reindeer up a little bit. I found some of these little bitty holly picks at Hobby Lobby at some point, and so I glued 2 of those down kind of at the side of his neck. And then I had these bows with the bell on it. I don't know where they came from. They may be Dollar Tree, but they've been in my stash for a while. So I just added that, just so he's got like a little bit of a holly collar around his neck, and he's got a little bit of festiveness going on. So I ended up with 2 of these. So I got 5 12 by 12 reversible signs. So those are the things you hadn't seen at all, I think. And then I had a bunch of ornaments too that we've sold most of those, but I did a combination. Some were round, like 3-inch circles, some were like a little plaque, and just used paper, and I think I had some that were tree shaped too. The combination of the paper I Mod Podged on top of them, and then either embellished them with like some type of embellishment or just did some vinyl wording on them. But then I also have these paper ornaments that my daughter and I made for us to use. And these were just like ornament shapes that were cut from my silhouette, and then we kind of folded them in half and then just glued them back to back to create kind of a 3D circle. And then just used some embroidery floss to tie them off the top. So those were fun. Kind of a fun little project that Ellie and I could do together. Let's see, I had 16 Z-fold cards, and I believe those were made using a sheetload of card sketch from Call Me Crafty Owl, and those have already been sent out. I got 2 Christmas letter block sets, and so they're like these, but they're bigger, and they said Merry Christmas on one side, and I don't remember what they said on the other side, but I will try and find a picture and insert that. And then I had a couple of bread wraps. It says I had 4, but I don't know if I had maybe done some in before, or if I ended up doing more and just forgot to write them down. But here's a handful that I did have left, where it's just using, you know, the pattern paper, and then I stamped Sweet Christmas Wishes onto a stitch circle on this one, or fussy cut out of a journal card. So we sold a few of those, so I have a handful of those left. Fun fold Christmas cards. They weren't like a Z fold. It was just kind of a weird fold that I had come up with for my own personal cards. I ended up making 40 of those. Those were all sent out also. Hershey Nugget packs. I did 3 of those out of scraps from this paper. Those all sold. Advent calendars. I did 3, and there were 3 pages, because there was 3 of each design in this pad, so there were 3 pages that had cut apart, like, or countdown calendar type numbers, And so I either fussy cut them out, punch them out, or just trim them down and backed them on some other patterned paper like scraps that I had and some cardstock just to give them some stability. And then I got some clothespins from the Dollar Tree, covered those with scraps of paper as well, and then glued it all together. So you have a clip that has, you know, the countdown calendar number. And so for 2 of the sets, I did these and have kind of packaged them up with just these little brown paper bags. They're like 3x6 size that I found on Amazon, and figured, you know, somebody could fill the bag with a little treat and then fold it over and clip it, and they could either set it in like a bigger box or crate, or just set them around, or they might even be able to clip, depending on what they put inside, they could even clip them, you know, to the tree, or like one of those, like a chicken wire holder or something. But I just thought I, you know, was just doing kind of like the base part of the calendar. I did 2 this way, where it was just the bags and the numbers. I did sell 1 set of those already. And then the other one I used for myself. So the 3rd set, I did it the same way, had these numbers, put them on the clothespins, but I used different bags. I actually took old wine bags that I had cut down because my husband and I created an adult beverage countdown calendar, and we had some bottles, like mini bottles, that we picked up of things that we wanted to try or things that we knew we liked but didn't have. But then we also had a lot of bourbon that we hadn't tried yet. My husband went on a bourbon shopping spree right before Thanksgiving, and so there were a bunch we hadn't had a chance to try yet, so we found some mini bottles and filled them ourselves based on the bourbon that we had. So that was a fun project and kind of a fun thing for my husband and I to do. And I don't think I got it done until mid-December, so we counted down to Christmas and then kept going and ended up counting down to mid-January for my birthday. So it was all good. So that was something I hadn't done before, was the advent calendars. And then I ended up making like 61 A2 size cards. And these will just kind of flip through really quickly. I believe you've seen them all before, but they're decorated with combination of some of the journal cards that I found from Paper Studio that coordinated really well. There's really old rub-ons that I was trying to use up, some chipboard Santas from Paper Studio that coordinated really well. There's another Paper Studio embellishment, old rub-ons. This was a cut apart that I ended up fussy cutting out just the jar. I didn't care for the rest of the card, but I wanted the jar and to put a rub-on on there. Same with that one. So just kind of a combination of things. That's the deers from, I think it's from Paper Studio. So I used sketches on these cards, and I love them all. I love how they turned out. All the rusticness, totally my jam. That was that stack. Here's this stack, super quick. Come on. So, and I forgot that I had these actually. So this gets me even closer to my card donation goal, which I don't really have a set number. I just want to donate as many as I can this Christmas between a couple different places. So I'm actually further along than I thought I was. These are actually from Echo Park, from one of their winter collections, the epoxy stickers. This little I stamped a reindeer on the burlap pattern paper. So just a combination, trying to use up all of the scraps that I had. It was one of those pads that seemed to go forever, but I did use it and I really enjoyed it, which is good because I actually have a whole nother pad. So There may be another Pine Street square pad project somewhere a few years in the future. Here's one where I just kind of made it a quilted square type card with adhering a bunch of squares on the front. Here's one where it was strips going across to make my card mat, and then I also used strips for my embellishment. So yeah, 61 A2 size cards on top of, what was that, 56 fun fold cards. And then I got some little mini 3x3 cards. I ended up getting like 16 of these mini cards or tags. And these guys, there we go. And then just a bunch of tags. And the tags, they all came from, most of them were cut from the pad cover, like the tag base, and then I just embellished them with scraps that I had left from the pad. So made good use of this pad for sure. And then I ended up making 2 of these little tags and I totally forgot that there was chocolate in here. Luckily that was locked away, or else it would have been eaten long before now. But there's a Ghirardelli square in here, and this was a silhouette file, and I had made 2 of those, and one of them I did gift already on a gift bag. So it's just a fun little gift tag. So yes, that was the goodies. That was all of the bounty that I got out of my Pine Street square pad. Started it in 2018, finished it in finished most of it in 2019, and then actually wrapped it up in 2020. Working on it 3 different, across 3 different years, so it's done. But just wanted to wrap that up, and hopefully you guys got some good ideas out of this series. I will try to include pictures in here, and then I will link the playlist from the videos that I did back in the end of 2019 for all the projects. We'll link those, and we'll link that in the description box below. Let me know if you have questions on anything. Otherwise, thanks so much for your time today, guys, and I hope you're having a crafty day.